Hello everybody and welcome back to the Retro Recall. I hope you're doing awesome. Today we're here with our good old pal, the IBM Personal Computer 300PL. This is a Pentium III 600 system with 256 megabytes of memory and a 10 gigabyte hard drive. This is the system in one of my previous videos that I had gone ahead and corrected by replacing 3 of the capacitors that were close to the coin cell on the motherboard. And we were able to get the system up and running again, back to the beautiful Windows 2000 that I had previously installed years ago on the system. So today I thought it'd be fun to relive part of my past, and I'm sure everybody else's that have experienced Windows Millennium Edition. Now, people are probably saying, what are you doing? You're running Windows 2000, everything's great. You know, Windows Millennium, what was that? And pronounced Windows ME or Windows Me. That is something that was introduced into the market, but not loved by all, that's for sure. Due to mostly, even though it was the last FAT32 operating system released, it was not loved due to its incompatibility with some of the DOS gaming of the era, specifically around Windows 98, the second edition had been out. This was the upgrade to that operating system. And ultimately, Windows 2000 came out more for the business market, this version of Windows there, versus this was more of the home market. And so I had rushed out. I had definitely gone out and purchased my original copy that I have. I have the CD over here that you off camera, but essentially I had purchased this and upgraded to Windows Millennium Edition without any issues at all. I never had problems with Windows Millennium Edition. I know friends and other people who had it, but I was one of the fortunate ones that did not have any issues. One of the things I had noticed though at the time, and even more so now when I just go back and think about that operating system, is I knew people that had the issues also had hardware compatibility issues. Where you would get blue screens, the BSOD, blue screen of death, in our terms of the operating system. I never had an issue because I always kept my hardware up to date in the latest of drivers that I had at the time. And I thought at the time as well, the DOS prompt, I guess, within the operating system ran the games I was running at the time. And, I would use a boot disk if I wanted to boot into DOS mode to access some of the real-time DOS stuff. I didn't have an issue with it. So anyway, today I wanted to bring people down memory lane and just kind of do a fresh, clean install of Windows Millennium. It doesn't make any sense to pop in the disk to do anything. This operating system, because it's already formatted NTFS, and that's just a file system on the system to support Windows 2000. So we need to properly go in, prepare the drive, get it ready for Windows Millennium. Now, I have an upgrade edition. So because of that, we're going to be working together on this. Because of that, I have my Windows 98, which is a fully registered. I have both the upgrade, of course, but also the fully registered version of Windows 98. I also have an OEM sealed Windows 95. That's not open yet. And so I also have their associated boot disks and things like that. So it'll prove, all you needed to do was prove that you had purchased a full OEM version of a previous operating system to be able to do a clean install. So let's go ahead and get started. So I have a Windows Millennium boot disk that I had made. This just allows the system to support the CD-ROM drive that we need. So without me having to go in and do a bunch of different configurations, we're just going to go ahead and just utilize the boot disk. So let's go ahead and shut down this computer and click on restart. Now I'm utilizing the LCD today for this video just because, again, I don't have a period correct beige IBM monitor. I am searching for one for this particular system. I have one in mind that I had when I was younger, so I'm in the looks for that. Now, I also I also do have plenty of CRTs. You've seen them on the channel here already, but I even have more than that that I could use to move forward if I wanted to. But I figured for the sake of filming, we'll just go ahead and use the HP that we had shown in another video. So welcome to Microsoft Windows Millennium startup menu. So we have our help option, start computer with CD-ROM support, start the computer without CD-ROM support. And again, you could use that for different other options as well if you're doing troubleshooting, and of course, minimal boot. We're just going to go ahead and do it with CD-ROM support because again, I need this CD-ROM to be able to install the operating system. And so this is my original CD from way back when. And yeah, it's crazy that I still have this, and the case is worse for wear, of course, and the CD, of course. But again, I have it from the box, and we're going to utilize that to install the operating system. It's just going ahead now and just installing what's required to get everything up and running, so we can just go ahead and start the work. Now, I believe the Windows setup allows you to prepare the drives. If not, we can certainly do that using fdisk on the disk. Actually, I'm just going to go ahead and go right into that just to be sure that we have the drive ready and formatted. Windows Millennium Edition has detected the drive C does not contain a valid FAT or FAT32 position. There are several possible causes. There we go. So the disk maybe need to be partitioned. Create a partition in the drive. Use fdisk, of course. And then of course, they give you a bunch of other options. So I'm going to go ahead and just run fdisk. I'll delete the partition, and then I'll go ahead and reinstall the partition and then go from there. Okay, so my CD-ROM drive is D. Okay, I had a bit of a issue with the camera there, but I have it all sorted out through the magic of editing. I went ahead and fixed all that and reloaded back where we were. So I'll go ahead and type in fdisk because we need to prepare the hard drive to prepare for Windows Millennium. We are going to enable the support, and we're going to go ahead and delete the partition on the drive. Enter volume enable none. Are you sure? Yes. Now all of our data is gone, and now we're going to go ahead and create a new partition, primary, and it's going to go ahead and verify the drive integrity to make sure that we are all good to go for the install. So through the magic of editing, I will go to the next step. All right, so do you wish to use the maximum available size for a primary DOS partition and make them active? Yes, and it's going to go ahead and re-verify the drive integrity. I never understood why it did this outside of just rechecking the size of the drive, but let's go ahead and fast forward to the next step. All right, so you must restart your system for your changes to take effect, and any drives you've created or changed must be formatted after you restart. All right, so shut down Windows before restarting. All right, we're all good. So we'll hit escape to exit fdisk, and we're going to go Control-Delete just to refresh the system after the fdisk has been completed. And we're keeping our Windows boot disk in there to be able to re-enable the CD-ROM support for when we go ahead and format the drive to prepare for Windows. Preparing to start the computer may take a few moments, so it's just preparing it. And what we need to do now is just format the brand new C drive on the system. And that's the 10 gigabyte hard drive that's in here. So we'll go ahead and get ready to do that once it's booted. All right, just tells my CD-ROM drive is E, that's fine. So we're going to format C:, and I'm not going to do a quick format, I'm just going to do a full format. And are you sure? Yes, absolutely. So now it's in the process of formatting the drive. So I'm going to go ahead and fast forward right to when the format is complete and we're ready to install Windows Millennium Edition. Okay, so here we are, and we have the 10 gigabyte hard drive all formatted in real time. That took about 5-10 minutes to complete. So here we are. So if we remember, we have C, oh, that's not right. Port, C drive, and we have our complete free space of 10 gigabytes, and we'll never be able to fill that space. Okay. So we have our A drive, which we know is our floppy. I'm just ejecting that now because we're going to go ahead and pop in the Windows Millennium CD to the in the disk. So this is the original my original Windows Millennium disk. We'll pop that in there. And yeah, so we'll just, it's been a long time since I've installed Windows Millennium Edition. So let's see what challenges await us while we install. Spinning back up. I don't remember the speed of the CD-ROM drive. I can't remember when we did our video. I don't think I did a lot of focus on the CD-ROM drive, of course. Let's go DIR and let's go setup. Please wait while setup initializes. To continue, hit enter. And Microsoft SanDisk is part of the install process. Just double checking to make sure the C drive is all good and no errors. And the D drive, there's no actual D drive in here. It's the RAM drive or the temporary drive that was created by the Windows Millennium boot disk. Okay. And copying files needed for Windows setup. Windows Millennium Edition. Setup is preparing the Windows Setup Wizard, which will guide you through the rest of the Windows setup process. So Windows Millennium Edition setup. It looks awfully like the Windows 98 setup. But yeah, it's here we go. So welcome to Windows Me setup. Windows Me. Congratulations on choosing Windows Millennium Edition. Software that makes your computer more powerful, reliable, manageable, and entertaining. With Windows Millennium Edition, you can connect to the internet quickly and easily. Windows Me is even easier to use than previous version of Windows. May take 30 to 60 minutes to install. So depending on the speed of your system. Now we're running a Pentium III 600 here, 10 gigabyte IDE hard drive, and it's a real hardware in here. I'm not using any sort of flash adapters or anything like that because of course that would be faster, but I love the sound of the old hard drives and I have a boatload of them. So why not use them while we can? And yeah, let's hit next. So we accept the agreement and I go ahead and enter the CD key and it's saying setup needs to check your setup disk for a qualifying product. So this product is an upgrade to Microsoft Windows. To use it, you must own one of the qualifying products. So I'm going to go ahead and just click on Browse. And so it gives me the options. And I'm going to go ahead and just eject the CD and pop in the Windows 98 disk so it can do a search on the files. Now, I do realize, I believe my memory serves you right, you can copy, once you've gone ahead and formatted the disk and you have Windows, CD-ROM support, you can copy over the install files and it can detect that. So I'm going to go ahead and tell it to search for E, performing compliance check, and it is scanning a full registered version of Windows 98. So it says, setup has verified your current Windows media. Please reinsert the Windows Millennium CD and click continue. That's all we need to do. It just wants to, because it's an upgrade version, it wants to make sure you had the previous version of, or any version of Windows 95, Windows 98, Windows 98 SE that are qualifying products to verify. Now, I have Windows 98 Upgrade here. That would not have worked because, again, it was an upgrade version as well. So I'm going to go ahead and pop in the Windows Millennium Edition CD as it's asking me to. And we're going to hit OK once the CD is recognized. It says 41 minutes remaining. Now, I don't know how accurate that ever was in the install process, but anyway, it's just cool to have it there. So select directory. So we want to see Windows, recommended, absolutely. Preparing a directory and checking for installed components. So ideally, the hardware being a Pentium 3, hopefully it gets picked up as we go through this install process. Now, I mean, we have an S3 Verge video card that's in here, so hopefully that works. And then we have Sound Blaster compatible stuff. So let's see, what kind of setup do you prefer? Let's do a custom setup. We're going to install the whole 9. So we're going to go, name is the Retro Recall and company, well, under company, and that's fine. So let's go look through what kind of setup options we have as part of the Windows Millennium Edition setup. So let's go under accessories. We have briefcase, desktop wallpapers, imaging, mouse pointers, a whole bunch of different things. Let's go ahead and select all those. Address book, we'll leave that fine. Communications, what's under communications? We have dial-up server, direct cable connection, hyper-terminal, a whole bunch of net meeting. I remember that back in the day. Universal plug and play, virtual private networking. Hey, give it all to me. I want it all. Desktop themes, yes, absolutely. Games, what games are you giving me? Classic games, internet games, plus games, woohoo! All right, we want it all. Okay, we're going to hit OK on that. Multi-language support, now we're good for there. Multimedia, what's under multimedia? So we have our audio compression, all the good things. We have some sample sounds, multimedia sound schemes. No, I want them. So let's go ahead and do that. Oh, I accidentally unselected all of them. There we go. And we have online services. So add support for America Online, ATT WorldNet Service, Prodigy and Earthlink Internet Online Services. I'm not confident that all of them are good or online right now, and not to mention we don't have them anyway. So we're gonna. That's the one thing I will uncheck. Outlook Express, we'll leave that in there. System tools, we have character map, clipboard, compressed folders. NetWatcher, what's NetWatcher? Monitor your network server and connections. Awesome. System monitor and resource monitor. Hey, let's go ahead and install all of those. And 1 second here. And Web TV for Windows. So I don't know if you're familiar with Web TV. It's a whole other topic for another video. But Web TV, you had an option of getting a box set top, or you could do it through the computer. And actually, to my understanding, using a Raspberry Pi, they do have the service up and running again. So I'm going to go ahead and just install it for the sake of having it. Who knows? This might be the system we use, or it might have a desktop, or sorry, a set top, which would be like a VCR or something like that for TV service. So that's a future video. Okay, I'm going to hit next. And we have the computer name, and it says the retro. I'm just going to name that, actually, I'm just going to rename that Windows ME. Work group, I'll keep work group in case we ever throw this on the network, just locally, of course not for the internet. And computer description, the retro recall. Hit next. And we're going to go ahead and choose our language of English, and country is in Canada. If you haven't already figured that out, that's where I am. And United States 101 is fine for the keyboard layout on our genuine IBM keyboard here, PS2 keyboard. Okay. And time zone, let's go ahead and select out. A lot of people don't care for this for the sake of the videos. I always set up my systems accordingly, and I do use the coin cell battery. As you know, I did do that. So let's see here. Label a disk, Windows Millennium Edition startup disk, insert it in drive A, and caution, setup will delete any files. We're not going to do that because we already have one. So I'm going to hit cancel. And now it's all ready to begin copying files. My goodness, we went from 41 minutes down to 27, just like that. Amazing. Windows Millennium Edition setup. Wizard now has enough information to start copying files to your computer. If you want to review any changes, settings, click back. Otherwise, to complete setup and start copying Windows Millennium Edition files, click on Finish. Let's go ahead. Clicking on Finish, and we're excited to get to use this brand new operating system. All right, please sit back and relax while Windows Millennium is installed on your PC. During this automated installation process, you'll learn about some of the enhancements to Windows ME and a few of its exciting new features. So here we are, installing fairly quickly on the system. Windows just got better. Windows Millennium Edition, or Windows ME, helps you get the most out of your computer by providing the best in digital media, an improved user experience, enhanced home networking, and rich internet experience. Remember, Windows Millennium Edition was aimed at the home market. You and I, home, on our home PCs, personal computers, this is what it was. Windows 2000, of course, which came out shortly after, was focused on the business market, and of course, when ran on a different file system, was much more secure. It was actually the predecessor to Windows XP, which was very, 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 very great operating system. So yeah, that's that. So what are the system requirements here? So it requires a Pentium 150 or higher processor, 32 megabytes of RAM. This computer has 256 megabytes. I heard that if you hit 512 or more, then Windows Millennium starts to act up a little bit. Leave a comment below and let me know if that's something that you've heard as well. But that's just something I've read. And available hard disk space, we have tons there, but it does say 256 megs of available hard drive space, but then all the way up to 435 megs, depending on how much you want to install. Well, we clicked on most of it anyway. CD-ROM or DVD-ROM drives, so DVD-ROMs were around at the time as well. VGA or a higher resolution monitor, I believe this is sufficient, and Microsoft mouse or compatible. Well, it's a good thing I have the Microsoft branded mouse, because I'd be worried. Or compatible pointing device. Obviously, I'm kidding. So additional items or services required to use. So it does call for a 28.8 modem minimum. We're not going to go on the internet or even do dial-up. access to internet through a service provider, for sound, sound card with speakers, all those good things. DVD support tells you about that. Windows Media Player, Windows Movie Maker. If you want that, you need a much higher processor, 300 megahertz, Pentium II, and all that good stuff. For video conferencing, you need your camera, and for home networking, you need home networking hardware. Copyright 2000 for Microsoft. All right, more innovative. New release of Windows has hundreds of enhancements and new features based on customer requests and product support experiences. Like its predecessor, Windows Millennium supports new cutting-edge technologies while at the same time providing the best support for your current hardware and programs. Now, a lot of people beg to differ with that when it was part of this system. Now, I'll be honest. Again, as I said earlier, I never experienced any problems with this. This was always great for my hardware, but again, I had started off with the latest drivers and did an upgrade from Windows 98 at the time. And I have done clean installs, such as what we're doing right now. But again, just something to think about how the different approaches are. Because some people have installed the software from the original hardware and have run into problems as well because they didn't have the latest drivers installed. So connects you to the web. If you want to use the internet, it's never been easier or faster. The Internet Connection Wizard helps you configure your system and sign up with an internet service provider of your choice. So it's the Millennium. The Y2K thing is behind us. We're moving forward, and we're always trying to improve our computer hardware, our computer software, all the different software that was available at the time, and how we used our systems. So, okay, delivers the web to you. The integration of Windows Me and Internet Explorer gives you the most rewarding way to use the web. I'm not going to talk about the integration of Internet Explorer. Obviously, it came with the operating systems, and that was a whole other topic. Enhancements to Internet Explorer make browsing faster, and features like Print Preview, making printing web pages even simpler. Print Preview, my goodness, something we take for advantage today. And that was just introduced into these operating systems. So looking for the best websites, the Explorer bars such as search, history, and favorites make it easy to find. Awesome. Enhances communication. Windows Me gives you exciting tools that help you communicate and work with family and colleagues worldwide. With Outlook Express, not only can you send and receive email messages and participate in news groups, you can also manage multiple email accounts. New communication tools using MSN Messenger service. Oh, it's going faster now. Home networking. As more homes get multiple PCs, it's becoming more important than ever to share resources such as files, printers, and modems between PCs. Windows Me can help you set up a home network to do this. Better games. So this is where people were kind of a little more reserved about Windows Millennium, at least in my experience, because, again, it included new capabilities, digital audio, DirectX, support of graphics. But then again, it was more of the, at the time, you wanted real-time DOS. Music and video, Windows Media Player 7 offers consumers the first fully integrated digital media experience, including playback of CD quality, audio, streaming, and downloadable audio and video, jukebox capabilities, internet, radio, and more. So all those different applications like Winamp and Real Player and all those things, they were starting to incorporate that into Microsoft's suite, which was already part of the operating system, as opposed to encouraging you to go and download other pieces of software that they wanted you to use their software on that. And I remember I always liked the native applications. That was one thing I found hard or difficult to switch over to Windows Media Player actually at the time, because I was using other media players at the time as well. So I believe Windows Millennium Edition introduced Windows Movie Maker, which is pretty cool. So Windows Me includes Windows Movie Maker, which lets you edit your own video files. You can become your own director and adding narration, music, and sound effects. The movie files that you create with Movie Maker are so small, they're easy to share with friends and family through email. You can easily publish them to the web. You can literally keep your entire home movie collection on your hard disk and then lose them if your hard drive failed. But this is the introduction of video editing into an operating system. So yes, there was different competitors, different software that was out there at the time, but this was coming out with Windows, and my understanding is it was very, very powerful. Now, I did not use Windows Movie Maker at all. And today I use different software, of course, but it was just really cool to see this included. Digital photography. Most people are turning to digital photography because it's easy to store and send photos using your PC. Windows Me makes it easier to transfer images from your scanner or digital camera, and you can also perform simple actions such as previewing, rotating, printing your images without needing a separate application. So improved user experience with hundreds of enhancements and new suite of wizard and smart tools. Windows Me helps you keep your computer running smoothly. System file protection automatically protects system files so you can't delete them. So, and there's also, of course, the Windows Restore as well. That's part of the System Restore. So easy to update. Stay up to date with Windows-based extension of Windows Me. Windows Update reviews your system, recommends the updates you need, can install the updates you select, and can even set up your PC to receive updates automatically. And easier to get help. So if you have questions about using Windows Me, it's easy to get answers. Windows Me is a built-in help and support center that's informative and easy to use, complete with tours, step-by-step instructions, troubleshooters, and links to the web for the very latest information. Now, I don't know how often I use Windows Help, to be honest, but it was built in. Supports new hardware, so Windows Me supports the broadest range of new printers, modems, monitors, network adapters, and other hardware devices. Well, we're going to see. This is a IBM PC from back, like I said, it's a Pentium III, so hopefully Windows Millennium will see that hardware that's in there and detect it and install the drivers for it. And we'll just see how well it is. If not, well, we'll have to work on installing all the drivers that it missed. 90% more accessible. So Windows Me provides accessibility features that make it easier for people to interact with computers. The new Accessibility Wizard helps you customize your computer screen, keyboard, and mouse to fit your needs. To make items easier to see, you can increase the contrast, switch to a larger text size, and have your mouse pointer leave a trail. You can customize keyboard options and replace computer sounds with visual alerts. So make sure we register our copy of Windows Me and the Microsoft Windows Millennium Edition team, thanking us for getting this copy of Windows Me, proving that we had a previous copy to install this upgrade version, and to sit here anxiously waiting back in the year 2000, trying to install this operating system for the first time. And yeah, it's just an experience. So I restarted the computer, but I wanted to make sure I'm calling out. I pulled out the floppy disk so it won't boot to that. It should boot right to the setup, continue the setup that we require. There we are. Windows Me, we saw the very first kind of splash screen there for a second, and now it just automatically went away and said, we're updating your files and configuration. May take a few minutes, which is, of course, just still doing its install process. All right, now it's setting up our hardware and finalizing settings. So this is more of the Millennium splash screen, edition splash screen. So Windows Millennium is now initializing its driver database. And now it's setting any hardware. So it's setting up any hardware and plug-and-play devices that we may have. It's just letting us know that if the computer stops responding for a long time, just turn it off and turn it back on. But yeah, so it's really neat to see this. So the other screen, as you know, looked more like the Windows 98 install, if you've ever done that. And now this is more Windows 98 or Windows Millennium Edition oriented. So really cool. So it's just detecting non-plug-and-play hardware, just doing a full scan of the system board and seeing what other hardware is potentially there. And ideally, it's going to install all this wonderful hardware that it's trying to detect. So, and this is the last phase. Millennium is now setting up the hardware and any plug-and-play devices that you may have. So plug-and-play essentially is just a card that has plug-and-play compatibility. You pop it in, it already detects the resourcing required for that card and tells the operating system either to automatically look for it when you install it, restart your computer, or you tell it to look for plug and play. Now, non-plug and play hardware is stuff that you have, are cards or hardware you have to put in the system, and then you have to go into the actual computer and specify the addresses and things like that to tell the card to how to operate. Now, again, that's high level. There's a lot more to that, but I always get flack for some of these descriptions and things like that because I'm leaving certain things out or whatever. But again, it's just designed to help people understand what some of these terms are as we go through this install. All right, Millennium Edition is now setting up your hardware plug-and-play devices, so it could have picked up some hardware as it was installing it and wanted to do a restart just to refresh the hardware. No different than if you purchased a piece of hardware, you pop it in there. It's a good practice to install and then do a restart of your system just to make sure it's all refreshed. So it is now setting up the following items. So it's setting up the control panel, then the programs in the start menu. So it's updating all the different shortcuts, Windows Help, and tuning an application to start, and web TV for Windows. So this is the web TV that I popped on here. Completely arbitrary to install this, not required, but I want to for a future hint, foreshadowing for a future video, because I think it'd be really cool to get a Raspberry Pi and hook it up to the system to see if we can get this working. And if not, we can definitely use newer hardware to do that. But I just figured if we can try to get it working, why not? And system configuration. So then after that, it will start to go through and just finalize the system configuration for the computer. What are we looking at here? We have 10 minutes left. Windows Setup is now configuring your system software. I always loved the Millennium splash screens and things like that. It was definitely a change going from Windows 95 to Windows 98 to Windows 98 Second Edition. You know, there was a change, of course, from 95 to 98, but it was just really cool to start to see the different interfaces and different splash screens and things like that, as well as the Windows 2000 theme. There was some of these incorporated into Windows 2000 as well. So it was just really cool to see those themes crossing both sides. Okay, so here we are. I went ahead and moved on to the next step just because of the time it took to get to this stage. And we are 1 minute away from estimated time from completing our setup. And it's finalizing the component progress, and it shows the overall progress here. So we're 1 bar away from that. Updating our system settings, less than a minute. Exciting. See this brand new operating system from 2000. Everybody's at the edge of their seats. Can't wait to see the operating system. Okay. So I'm not feeling like the video card was picked up, but we'll see. So please wait when Windows updates the hardware information database. So we'll see if it picks up the required drivers for the video card. There was sound, and then it cut off. I'm not sure what happened there. It implies it picked up the sound card drivers. We'll see when we get into it. I mean, it's still installing, still updating. It was really cool to hear. A partial Windows Millennium startup sound. So we have the desktop-ish. Oh, we have a sound card. Looks like, oh, we have an interrupt sound. So yeah, let's just see if it detected the, no, it's standard PCI graphics. It's funny, it picked up the flat screen monitor model, but did not pick up the VGA adapter. Yeah, it's interesting. Okay. Let's go ahead and go into our computer for a second here. So we have genuine Intel. It says it's an Intel Family 6 Model 7 processor. It doesn't actually come out and detect what it is, but I mean, it is a Pentium III 600. Let's go into our device manager for a moment and take a look. So we have our LG CD-ROM drive. It's an 8480. I could be a 48-speed CD-ROM drive. We have our floppy drive and our hard drive, but we already know what a hard drive is. Let's see. Let's just go into the driver database just to see if we do have the S3, because I know the S3 was a popular brand at the time. So we have the Verge there. Yeah. So we have. I mean, it didn't detect it right away. I'm not sure if any of those are the correct drivers. Let's just see. Because it's an AGP. These are all PCI. Yeah, okay. I'm going to go get the drivers for that in a moment. But let's see what else is here. So we have our controllers, keyboard, our monitors, which again, I think is hilarious that it picked up that and not the other. So we have our PS2 compatible mouse. I mean, it's a Microsoft mouse, standard. Network adapters. Hey, it picked up the network card, no problem, which is awesome. And then, of course, all the different things that we installed as part of the operating system. Ports are good, sound card. So it picked up I believe, all the sound information we needed. I don't understand why a disabled device is showing just fine, but it seems to be okay. System devices are all picked up, and our USB controller is also picked up. So all in all, I think if we're just worrying about the display adapter, of course, I think we're in a really good spot. So I'll be right back, and we'll go ahead and get the drivers for that install. Okay, so after going and getting the driver CD all copied, we're going to go into the device manager, into our video card settings. And this is an S3 Savage 4, I believe, AGP. So let's just go under this. We'll ask for it to search, see what automatically finds the drivers for it, which would be very handy. If not, we can go in and manually select them, but I believe it's an AGP 2X card that's in this system. So it's looking for the drivers now. There we are. It's updating the driver database on Windows Millennium. And it's going to ask us to restart, no problem. So we're hearing sound, that's a good thing. And as I mentioned earlier, the only thing that I think we had a problem with so far outside of is the video card. Everything else seems to be installed and working. So let's continue on and see if we can get this video card installed. Hopefully the drivers that it found will show us a proper desktop. Oh, that's starting to look better now. And we have the full Windows Millennium startup sound. Awesome. All right. So let's just check the resolution here. Oh, there we go. This is much better. And for the sake of the video, I'm going to leave it 800 by 600 just so everybody can see the screen just fine from that angle. But yeah, it didn't take much once we got the driver CD just to install it. And yeah, everything looks good. Let's go ahead and just put the Windows Millennium background on. Now, it does activate Windows Active Desktop. I'm fine with that. We have our My Documents folder here. And again, you can see the navigation windows on the sides here that Windows Millennium introduced to go into different parts of your system or parts of your computer, which is neat. So that was My Documents there. We have My Briefcase. Now, I never used My Briefcase. It says here you can use the Windows Briefcase to help organize and keep your documents up to date between two PCs. Again, I imagine, now keep me honest here, is that the equivalent of what OneDrive would be like today across a couple of PCs, of how this would be shared across the network? Again, I never use that often. Outlook Express, Windows Media Player. Let's see if Windows Media Player is probably going to ask us for the first install stuff. No, it seems to be. Let's stop that because I don't want to get that closed off. But it came with Beck, Beautiful Way, already installed as part of the Windows Media Player. So that's awesome. Media Guide, CD audio. Now there's no audio on this particular CD. It's our data CD that we have in there right now. Our media library, saying, hey, would you like to search your computer for media? Not right now, but yeah, it would all sort all your audio, album, artist, video, put your clips there, your playlists, your radio tuner presets. Again, here's a radio tuner where you could go on the internet and listen to live audio. Again, Real Player, as I mentioned, did that as well. Portable device, so this would be like an MP3 player that you would connect to the computer, and you could use this, and you can copy back and forth between your media device and your system. And then your skin chooser. So this is all the different skins for media player. And I didn't really play with these too much, to be honest. Like I mentioned, didn't use. Oh, geez, I believe this was a famous one back then. But yeah, that's crazy. Anyway, and then again, getting into all the different. That's funny. All right, let's go ahead and close that now, because we're going to go ahead and jump into. The recycle bin's pretty obvious. Internet Explorer version 5.5 is installed in the system natively from the install, so that's pretty cool. And you could also set up the Microsoft Network Internet access. Of course, Microsoft would default leaving their stuff installed on there, even though I said don't install any of that stuff. All right, under accessories, we have our accessibility options. We have our communications, so our dial-up networking, direct connection to a computer, home networking wizard, hyperterminal, internet connection wizard, all your different configurations, your net meeting. I remember having net meeting. Talk to others, use videos, see others, and let you see you. This is the foundational stuff for internet calling, and whether you connect to a server, you connect with your webcam, you connect to all this. What we have today, on our cell phones, and we have Microsoft Teams, and we have Zoom, and we have all the things we live in now. This is all the foundational stuff for that. I'm not going to go through the setting of that right now, but it was definitely pretty cool to see. Under entertainment, we have our sound recorder, we have our volume control, we have our web TV for Windows. Let's click on that just for a moment. So web TV for Windows, again, being able to utilize the Microsoft Web TV service for...
Welcome to Microsoft Web TV for Windows. This feature comes with a program guide and free local TV listings.
You can watch TV on your computer. That's what it was, through the web. And
the free local TV listings. Fill your program guide with the who, what, when, and where of what's on TV.
It was a service that was actually, you install on your computer. If you didn't have a computer, somebody who didn't want to buy a computer could get this for their home TV.
The program guide in Web TV for Windows displays channels, listings, and show times, just like in the newspaper.
There we are. So he explains it better than I do.
You're done. To change your choices at any time, go to the configuration program on your program guide.
And there's Web TV. There's the interface. Now, obviously there's no service currently.
Welcome to Microsoft Web TV for Windows. This feature comes with a program guide and free local TV listings.
I think we already watched that, but yeah, so you'd go in and, to my understanding, you can go ahead and configure this to a semi-live service. But yeah, it's just pretty cool to see that installed on here. I'm going to play with that again a little more in the future. So let's go ahead and under accessories again. I believe that's where we were, under entertainment. And then Windows Millennium Edition preview. Using the little Windows Media Player. And yeah, welcome to Windows Millennium. All the things you can do with Windows Millennium. You can take pictures, work with pictures on your computer, take movies. Oh, obviously, if someone smashes on your keyboard with a hammer, you can certainly go back and correct it using Windows System Restore. Again, which was introduced into Windows Millennium, and I don't remember it ever working all that well, to be honest with you. I definitely had some challenges with it, but yeah, home networking, connecting everybody together. Again, all the foundational stuff that we have today, this is where it all stemmed from through the years of upgrades and all the different things. Rich internet experience. So obviously, surfing the internet is what they encouraged. Multimedia into this version of Windows. And the endless possibilities start now. And there we are. And then you can go ahead and continue by clicking on the different areas to learn more about the individual areas. So digital media, Windows Media, my goodness, Windows Media Player, Windows Movie Maker, and My Pictures, rich internet experience to go and Internet Explorer, Outlook Express, and MSN Messenger, improved user experience, so help the support center and register Windows, of course, home networking as well. So you can go in here and use this interface to learn more. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So exit out of there. But it was just again, I liked Windows Millennium Edition. I know there's a lot of hype about it not being the best operating system out there, and probably not, again, because the shutdown options were limited. It used to have an option to shut down in MS-DOS mode, and there is a way to configure this to repopulate that option. But again, you also had boot disks that you could use if you wanted to be able to run that software natively. I'm not shutting down at the moment. And let's go back to accessories here. So we have our system tools. So yeah, we went through the entertainment. So we have our character map, clipboard, disk cleanup, disk defragmenter, drive space, maintenance wizard. So obviously run scheduler. You can do your scan disk and things like that. Net watcher, resource meter on your system. This just tells you the different resources you're using, obviously, on the system. I believe this was also part of Windows 98 as well. And again, a resource meter that actually uses resources to run. The irony. We have scan disk, we have scheduled tasks, system information, system monitor, and the good old system restore. I believe in order to use system restore, you had to activate it or set it up first. Yeah, so no, it was already by default. So then, to use System Restore to undo harmful changes to your computer and restore its settings and performance. System Restore returns your computer to an earlier time called a restore point without causing you to lose recent work. So you had an issue with your operating system, or for some reason something was adjusted or changed by a piece of malware or a virus on your system. This could potentially I say, because again, I never had a lot of luck with this, but restore back to an earlier date and time. So I'm going to click on restore my computer to an earlier date, and then you would choose a date and it would see where the system checkpoint is. Now, it's already created one on the system from earlier, from when we were working on the system. But again, it's already updated since then. So it would naturally go in and do that. And then you can actually go in and create a restore point. Let's say I've installed something, or I already have it already ready to go. So I just go ahead and tell it to create a restore point. What else is on here? So let's go through games, because I believe we went through everything on system tools, and then you have your address book, calculator, your imaging, which are your pictures. Now this is your MS-DOS prompt. Again, I had no problem. I don't have anything installed on here right now, but I use this when I needed to run something, and generally things ran. Anything requiring real mode DOS support, again, I use the other options that were available to me to do that. Again, I didn't have problems with that, but that's just me. Notepad, Paint, and yeah, so we have Windows Explorer. So again, we can explore our computer, go through it, and my computer, and see what's on here. We have our floppy drive, CD-ROM drive, all that good stuff, and then access all of our system stuff from there. And what else is here? We have our WordPad and Windows Movie Maker. Again, I'm not going to go into Windows Movie Maker. Well, actually, I can go into it, but I'm not going to do too much with it. But yeah, in here you can go ahead and import movie files. And here we are. We have a tour. So, I mean, you could take the tutorial and go through it, or you can add video files. Again, this is a fresh install. You watched me install. I don't have anything currently on here, but you could take your videos from a video camera or an external device, put them on the system, put different videos on here, and you can edit the videos. You can merge the videos. You can cover the sound up. You can add audio tracks, things like that. So that's pretty cool. And I believe you have direct capture here as well, which is pretty neat. But Windows Movie Maker, again, first edition was put on to Windows Millennium Edition. So let's see what else we have on here. So under games, we have Classic Hearts, Classic Solitaire, and then we have our internet, Freestyle. Then we have internet backgammon, checkers. I remember playing these quite a bit. Again, I'll click on this. I doubt very much that anything will happen because, yeah, there's just services. There's no internet plugged in, obviously, right now, but even when I had it running, historically, I believe the service is down. I mean, it's not going to work. So let's go to, I mean, you have good old Minesweeper. I mean, this is classic. I rush there. I always die. Never ever go through there. And let's go back to game story. And we have our Minesweeper. We have our pinball. So we have our 3D pinball installed. Classic 3D pinball for Windows. And let's see if I remember. Oh, there we go. And what ones are the flippers? I better quickly learn. Oh, no, it even gave. Oh, shoot. What are the. Oh, game 3 paused. Aha, let's go here. Let's go into our player controls. What are the flippers? Z and of course they are. Oh, why wouldn't they be? All right, F3. Let's go here. Okay. Well, there we go. Let's do it one more time. And of course, deploy. I never checked that option. Bumper, plungers, space bar. Okay, let's hold down the space bar. Oh, game 3 is paused. I'm not doing a very good job here at all. There we go. Let's see if we can get this going. Used to play this for hours back when I had the. Of course, it goes right down the center. All right. So let's see. We have our. I mean, I know this video is getting quite long just because of the type of time it took to install and show everybody the install. So let's go ahead and see what else is on here. So, I mean, again, outside of games and all of our accessories, this is the basic operating system installed. I mean, again, we had our control panel, which is your add your hardware, your programs, your automatic updates, all the great stuff on here. And, installed a control panel just for the S-Video color control now that we installed the driver. We have our audio, which, again, I showed you earlier, but let's go exit Windows. Utopia. No, I don't want to do that. Actually, let's play that. Oh, that's our Windows. All our different, let's go to our start Windows again. Oh, that's not what the one's Millennium, but that's the sound scheme that I chose. But see, if I go up and just put, let's see here, it shows, let's see, Windows Start. That's pretty cool. So you can go through here and select all your audio that you can and configure things. It's awesome. And under System, we've already gone through what our computer is. So here we are. I mean, we took a computer from 1999. I believe that's the date this computer was built or manufactured. And we did a complete clean install of Windows Millennium Edition. And we used the upgrade version, but had to again prove that we had the original or a copy of Windows 95 or Windows 98 or something, which was quite simple to do. And then once it was installed, the driver seemed to work just fine on it. So again, if you're installing Microsoft Golf or you're installing different operating or different applications and programs to the system, again, You can install them, you can use them, you can play around with them. And again, I never had a problem with them. It just worked for me. And please share your experience with Windows Millennium Edition or Windows Me, or Windows had other names for sure, other acronyms for the ME. But again, share your stories. I'd be happy to hear them in the comments. And again, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel. It really helps out. And again, please hit the notification button. You'll be notified when new content is created. And leave a comment below about your experiences and about different things that you've had with this operating system. We really like to hear. All right. I hope everyone has a great day. Thanks again for spending time with me, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.